Okay, so now we'll proceed with tips and techniques for writing Ielts task 1 and for 2. Something that you need to remember first is there are a few things which are common in task 1 as well as task 2. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I have made a note of all the points that you need to remember. So let's quickly get started with the first and the most important point. Remember, your target for task 1 is 180 for task 1 and 275 for task 2. To get started, what some students make a mistake while writing is they repeat the question the way it is being given in the paper. They write it absolutely in a similar way to start the writing task. Now remember, this is an offense, because the moment you do something like this, your evaluator is simply going to ignore what you have copied. So my first point clearly states that do not repeat any part of the question. However, one thing that you need to know is you may repeat individual words. Now, there are certain words which you cannot paraphrase or which becomes difficult for you to paraphrase. So, in such a situation, you may pick up, you may take selective words and you may use them in your answer as well. But be very careful when you're taking chunks of words, when you're taking an entire statement. Do not do that, because that would lead to your band score moving down. So that is the first thing that you need to remember. Use paraphrasing. Paraphrase the question that is being asked to you. Apart from that, one very important, that is our second point that we're going to talk about, is there is nothing called as a right viewpoint or an incorrect viewpoint in IELTS writing. Some people feel, or some people have this in their mind, that no, I cannot write against technology. I cannot write in favor of technology. Maybe there may be a different perception, okay? But there is nothing like that. In the IELTS writing, you are not evaluated on your viewpoint. Rather, the evaluator is more concerned about how effectively are you delivering. What is the grammar? How is your structure? What are the how's your vocabulary? So all these things play a vital role, but your viewpoint pertaining to a particular topic, that really does not matter. Apart from that, you need to write a minimum of three. Introduction, main body 1, and an analysis. Minimum of 3 paragraphs in task 1. Task 1 conclusion is not important. Analysis is not important. If you feel that you have gone ahead and you have exceeded the limit while explaining anything, then you may skip the third paragraph as well. However, it is advisable from my point of view that you start with the introductory paragraph, move on to the main body 1 and close it with a synopsis or an analysis. Remember, there is no conclusion in task 1 because you're simply describing something or you're simply writing a letter. However, in task 2, this thing changes. In task 2, you will move ahead and you will write 4 paragraphs. You'll start with the introduction. You'll have the second paragraph as main body 1. Then you will have main body 2, and then you will wrap up the writing by summarizing whatever you've written in the concluding paragraphs. When we're talking about conclusion here, remember that a conclusion does not need to be a long paragraph. You can also use an anecdote to go ahead and end your answer. That is a pretty good way of summarizing whatever you have explained in your paragraphs. So let's get it all together. Let's wrap it up in a nutshell and let's get started knowing the steps of how am I going to do the writing task. Writing task 1 starts with planning. If you do not plan, you cannot write. For task 1, you've got 20 minutes. For task 2, you've got 40 minutes. Now, out of the 20 minutes that you have for task 1, devote a minimum of 5 minutes for planning. In terms of task 2, devote a minimum of 7 to 8 minutes for planning. Because if your planning is strong, if your planning is good, then you will be able to write it or create an essay that would have a very positive impact. Moving ahead, you need to know certain vocabulary. You need to know vocab words. You need to know your lexical resource. The reason behind that is I would not want you to go ahead and memorize words, because memorizing would be wrong, but you need to know the meaning of words and you need to know where to use which particular word, because that would come to your assistance when you're writing the task. Moving ahead with the third point, you need to write a strong overview. Now, there are 2 different methods of writing an overview. So what some people do is they include the overview in your introductory paragraph. Whereas what others do is they go ahead and write the overview after the introductory paragraph. Some even write it in the conclusion though. But the most advisable or the technique rather that I follow is I write an overview in paragraph 1, that is your introductory paragraph. So what I do is when I talk about paragraph 1 of task 2, I go ahead and I paraphrase the question, or maybe I create first a background of the main topic. For instance, if I have to talk about education, my first line starts with education acts as a main base for any individual's life. Or maybe I write something that has got to do with education. After that, I paraphrase the question. Post paraphrasing the question, I give an overview of what I'm going to discuss. And then I write an elaboration sentence that I am going to enlist the details of the same in the ensuing paragraphs. So your first paragraph gets broken down into 4 different sections, starting with the background, moving on to paraphrasing the question, then moving on to giving an overview, and finally stating that you're going to elaborate whatever you've written in the following paragraphs, in the ensuing paragraphs. After that, you come to your main body 1. Moving to the 4th point is be sure to analyze all the main features. Now, what usually happens is during the examination time, during the course when we are actually going ahead and we're writing down the essay or the letter or the graph, we tend to lose our focus. So the moment you get your question paper in your hand, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to underline or highlight the main questions that have been asked, so that you do not go off track, you do not lose your track, and you can simply focus on the main goals. Now, having said that, we move on to our 5th point, which is be concise and specific. Please understand this, that your evaluator would not be in a position to read long fairy tales or stories that you write. Your main target should be you need to focus on the question, you need to focus on what is being asked, and very concisely, briefly, and being specifically, being to the point, you need to provide an answer to what is being asked to you in the question, and not lose focus as well. There is something else as well, which is called usage of cohesive devices. Now, when I talk about cohesive devices are nothing but those devices which connect your one paragraph to the another paragraph, which create a linkage between the two paragraphs or the 2 points. Using words like whereas, moreover, to add to it, furthermore, these are called cohesive devices. These actually create a relationship between different paragraphs. So you need to go and use more of them. Last, a variety of lexical resource and grammatical range, grammatical structure is required. When I say lexical resource, try to avoid using one word more than 2 to 3 times. The maximum advisable is 2 times, not more than that. Okay. Apart from that, try to form different types of sentences. Create simple, make maximum use of your grammar. Simple, compound, complex. Use different types of sentences, active, passive. When you use these types of sentences, your evaluator comes to know that yes, this person is pretty much aware about different grammatical structures, and he or she is well equipped with entire grammatical knowledge. So if you follow these tips, if you follow these standard things, I am sure you will excel in your writing module. What we're going to do in our next video is we're going to go ahead and create some live examples for you where I would be displaying practically how to write task 1 and task 2 using examples. Apart from that, I am also going to give you a structure that you may follow while doing your writing task. So until then, keep practicing. You can use writing task examples from the Cambridge books. Simply pick up any Cambridge book. You've got a big range from Cambridge 1 to Cambridge 13, at least, that are available in India. Start practicing task 1, task 2. You can even mail it to me. You can even send it to me. I would evaluate the same and give you proper feedback. If you wish to personally contact me, my number is 97812 54547. I repeat, it's 97812 54547. If at all I could be of any use to you, I would really be glad. So best of luck for your Ielts and keep practicing. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.